Hey everybody, Aaron J. Anderson here. Today is going to be my first photo shoot with the Sony a7 III, and I'm also going to have my Sony 24 to 105 f4 lens, and we're going to see how the Sony works. Now, I've been using Panasonics for quite a while, so I don't necessarily need to do a comparison because I'm going to know immediately if I think the Sony is going to be the right camera for me, or am I just going to go back to my Panasonic G9? And I am filming this on the Panasonic G9 right now. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the fitness instructor wants some photography of himself, and we're going to set up a quite large, I forget the size of it, it's an octabox, and we're going to put it above his head, and basically we want to create shadows so that his muscles his muscle definition shows, whereas if you shoot straight, of course, it's going to flatten the image and you're not going to see the definition in his muscles. And I'll come back with finished photos and maybe some commentary on how I think the Sony a7 III performed. We're using Godox flash, actually, the 8th, I forget the model number. I'll put it in somewhere up here, but we're going to use we're going to knock the light out in the gym here so that it's dark and we only get a light. So I don't know what the camera settings will be right now. I will put those in the end of this video. And also I'll tell you the flash settings that I use on the Godox systems. And we're going to be using the octabox, like I said, and maybe a rim light just to separate him from the background. So let's see how this turns out. Okay, so I got the octabox semi set up with my Godox flashes. Now those are the Godox, I think they're 850, I forget what they are. They're the newer ones, the Mark II version, and they are the lithium powered batteries. Now what I've been using lately, I hope I'm in focus, what I've been using lately is the Godox, what is this? This is the TT350. I use this as my wireless flash, and I'll make a video on why I use that, but I like it better than the other controller that I have, and I don't like it, but I'll go into that later. And then of course the Sony a7 III with the Sony 24 to 105 G f4 G lens, and we're probably going to shoot this at around 75 to 105 millimeters. And yeah, stay tuned for a video on why I use this instead of the other stuff. So let's get started. Okay, so we did a few shots and it came out really good. You're not going to see. This is let's see. Oh, it's going to be out of focus. But I'll show these to you guys later on the full size images. But it looks really amazing. After putting the rim light, the hair light, the backlight, whatever you want to call it, it just made the photo really that much better. So using the octabox up there in an angle, we can see the definition in his muscles, and the backlighting is skimming off his skin, and it looks really amazing. So far, using the Godox TT350 as a controller, like I said, I'll do another video, is working really good with the Sony a7 III. And so far, in the studio situation, the Sony 24 to 105 f4 lens is working out quite amazing, and I won't know until I get home and look at these in Photoshop. And the settings that I'm using on here is 320th of a second. That's enough to bring the light almost completely dark here. I didn't want it completely dark, but you'll see the photos. Maybe I'll edit it brighter, darker, I don't know. And then I'm using an f4 that's wide open and ISO 100. On my flashes, I'm using full power. I was going to say I don't know what they are, but it tells me right here. So I'm using full power. The octabox I'm using, it's the Apollo Orb. And I don't know if they have different sizes, but it's the bigger one. It's at least 42, if not larger than that, but maybe 42. And the stand is actually called an Avenger. Now, if I have time, I'll look up exactly the link, and I'll put everything in the description. So if you guys like what you see, you can mimic this by getting an Avenger light stand with an Apollo Westcott Orb. I think it's 42 inch, and the Godox system. And you've seen that I'm using the smaller Godox flash on camera, and I'll make a special video on that. That Apollo Orb I got with the grid. You can get it with or without the grid. In this situation, I don't need the grid because the light's not splashing on anything that I don't want it to splash on, because we're in this big auditorium-ish type thing here. So just wanted you guys to know that this is the one that comes with the grid, and the grid actually does work really nice. Okay, so I just wanted to show you guys how I'm getting this shot. Basically what you want to do is you got to turn off the flash, because if you keep it on, you can see the back of my screen, hopefully. What we're looking at now with the flash off is what you see is what you get. When you turn the flash on, just like the Panasonic cameras, is it's actually going to turn what you see, what you get off. I forget what it's called, live view or whatever. So now we're not seeing what the actual photo is going to be, as you can see there. And I think they're just doing that so you can see your composition, focus on your composition and so forth. But in order for us to get the ambient light the way we want it, we have to shut the flash off, okay? And then what you want to do is just dial in your settings, basically. Now, as you're going to see, the image getting brighter because I'm, lowering the shutter speed, and I wanted to knock all the ambient out. So I, set the shutter speed at whatever I needed to make it dark. You can also, the aperture, depending on what you want. Now, I want his whole body to be in focus, which is usually the case because we don't need to blur the background necessarily in this shot. So I just used I used F9, that way we have a real sharp image. And of course the shutter speed is, I don't know what it is now, I just ruined that showing you guys this. But it was high enough so I'm not going to get any motion blur. And then ISO, you just kind of dial in what you want. Now, I'm using what ISO here, at 400 ISO. So remember, once you get it dark in your camera, then you go ahead and you turn your flash on, and then you dial in your, I usually dial in the octabox, as you can see right here. That's like the main light. I'll dial that in, which is actually on full power. And then I take a shot, see what that looks like. Make sure he's not blowing out or anything, and make sure the background's dark like I want it. And then I go over to the hair light, rim light, backlight, whatever you want to call it, and I dial that in. Now, for simplicity, I kept both flashes on the same channel A, so when I fire, this just sends the signal and they both go off. And I actually had the rear flash on 25mm zoom, but it was hitting too much of the ground. Instead of getting a snoot out or a grid, I just went ahead and I zoomed the flash into 105 or whatever it is, and that's how we got the shot. If you guys have any questions, let me know, and in the description I'll leave the equipment I used. And so far, the Sony turned out really good. I don't know if I'm in focus here. The Sony was really good, along with the 24 to 105 f4 lens. The only problem I had is when we did some tight shots of his skin, it wasn't autofocusing. And that could be due to maybe it's just the skin. There was no contrast in the skin. I'm not quite sure why. Maybe there's a focus setting. I don't know what focus setting I have. Now, I did turn the autofocus on button into eye detection. So I could focus with this, which would put a box around him or whatever. But when you hold the AF on button, the way I set it up, it does the eye tracking, continuous autofocus. And it seemed to turn out really good, but we're going to go back and see what the photos look like. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. Bye, guys.